Kohala Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Dash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone rule well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. Back at you with another quick one. I'm going to let it play. I don't think it's that long. Yeah, it's a minute long. I'm going to let it play. We'll do a little commentary, get some scriptures, and that'll be it. But the gist of this is brace for impact. And I think that's what is going to be the title, because we're all about to feel it in one way or another. We are going to feel the fall of Babylon, whether it is, in the beginning where they, are, since we're in the early stages of their controlled demolition, that's what we're going to call it. But as this thing progresses, and the squeeze is going to get tighter and tighter. So here we go.
Let's just call it what it is, okay? They're closing Job Corps because they want young adults who don't come from money to either join the military, go into crime so that they can go into prison where they can be worked for free under the 13th Amendment, or in neither of those, be so desperate that they take terrible jobs with terrible wages and no worker protections and have
or maybe even a universal income.
A massive fear of organizing. Like, I don't really see what else the option could be, because Job Corps is not a huge drain on the U.S. budget. It's like a drop inside of a drop inside of a drop inside of the bucket. It's tiny, and it's about as much of a net good of a social program as you can imagine. Job Corps' number one function is to ensure that people who come from certain zip codes and from households with a certain income don't end up on government benefits later. It's like how the number is something like, for every dollar that we spend with the IRS, we get like $6 back. Like, I would be surprised if Job Corps is not similar in terms of the ROI. This is done for nothing more than cruelty and ripping the rug out from underneath hard-working kids. This is evil. Let's just call it what.
Right. So they're going to actually, hold on. This is Ecclesiastes in the Old Testament, chapter 12, verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because there are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So we really just wanted that first part of verse 4. But that, remember, I've gone into the grinder thing, or the grinder analogy, where you make bread. It was a big part in Israelite society in those times. So, like, if you ain't got no money to buy no bread, you ain't making bread, right? You're not. The grinding shall cease. And yeah, absolutely, they are looking to funnel people into where they need them, right? If you are broke, if you are poor, which majority of Jake is, especially now, we're all either in poverty or we are rich. So there will be many people for the third woe, all right? And then they got folks, you have the military industrial complex and the prison industrial complex. They need to feed it. Their policy has gone against them, and now they're trying to do a tough or a strict 180 into how things are done here. And now you're looking at the manifestation of basically bad policy. But it's all by design, right? This is how the Lord wants this place to go, so that's how it's gonna go. All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's what we need. Proverbs 29. Yeah, Proverbs 29 and 2. I just need to make sure that was it. Straight to the point here. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Okay, what do they do? What do they do here? They cause craft to prosper, All right, and by and work mischief by law. Right, I need that too. Is that Daniel or Isaiah? Psalms 94. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Psalms 94 and 20. Let's get to that real quick. You know, some of us might be feeling this sting a little bit earlier than others, right? But hey, man, you gotta pray. Everything that you preach, everything that you've learned, you have to put it into practice for your life. All right. Don't be a hypocrite. If you're on here telling people to pray, and you know, when you start to see trouble on the horizon, you should be praying when you see trouble on the horizon. Take your own advice, and also, you know, I like to include into the prayer that everything that I've learned, Lord, let me be able to, regurgitate or, repeat that or call into remembrance, however you want to phrase it. Call the things that I've learned into remembrance, so, that I can make an even stronger supplication. And the scriptures tell you about the Holy Spirit uttering, I'll get that in just a second. Psalms 94 and 20. Actually, let me type it in here. Holy Spirit groaning. Okay. Groaning. There we go. So we'll get to that in a second. Psalms 94 and 20. Yeah, so shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? That's not it. Who causeth craft to prosper. Let me just read Romans 8 and 26, and we'll get back to, because there's a specific verse I'm looking for. So let me go to Romans 8 real quick, and it will double back to the mischief by law. Romans 8, 26. And then this is another reason just to give praise, because you have to have faith and believe that this is the thing that is going on. You can't see it in the heavens. You can't see it in the spirit, but all right, a work is being worked, man. You got to believe that. Romans 8 and 26, likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Right? And if we want to dial it back or fast or rewind to the order of operation, Yahweh Shai made his sacrifice, here 2,000 years ago. And as he ascended back to the right hand of the Father, he sent the Spirit. He sent the Comforter. All right, so we would be covered even in his, I guess you can say, his physical absence. He is not here as a man, and when he comes back, he won't return as a man. But he sent the Comforter in his place here. All right, all things were needed to be done. He completed. So call Halo Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that we have the Spirit here. We can do this. We can pray, and whatever we lack, the Lord knows. All right, but it's up to us to, again, practice what we preach, because if you are not seeing that things are tightening up even more and the days are speeding up even more, we are already in June. All right, we are halfway through 2025, and it just seems like New Year's was maybe 2 months ago. But anyway, frameth mischief by law. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Mischief by law. You don't need my damn location. That ain't it either. Hey, the one I'm looking for is in Isaiah. And it's at the top of Isaiah, one of the chapters. Damn. You know what? We just gonna hunt for it. I know it's in the early Isaiah. Let's see. I'm gonna find it. Just bear with me. Bear with me a second. cause craft to prosper. How about that? I think that's it. Maybe that's it. Daniel 8 and 25. I was off. It wasn't Isaiah. I think this is the one. And we'll end it here. Because I didn't want it to be too long. I just want to, sound that trumpet. Because, like I said before, we all are about to feel this squeeze. And with that, you ought to make sure your faith is intact, that you are not a hypocrite. You practice what you preach. You put in to practice what you preach, what you learn, what you read, okay? You gain the knowledge, and then you execute said knowledge in your daily life when the Lord presents these trials, all right, as an opportunity for faith, to exercise your faith, right? That will turn into wisdom. And the beginning of wisdom is what? Fear of the Lord. And how do you please the Lord? Through faith. All right. Without faith, it is impossible to please him. And if the Lord is not pleased with you, then that fear ought to kick in, so that way you can figure out how to make him pleased with you. And you find it in these scriptures. All right. And we'll end it here at Daniel 8 and 25. And through his policy, that's what I was looking for. He shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And that is the future we are awaiting. That is the future we are looking for. But in the meantime, hunker down.